Hello and welcome to the Oni Musha, the Netflix, the Spoilercast from the GigaBoots.com. I'm your host, Dan Video Games. With me is Bob.
Genma.
Dr. Aggro.
Musashi.
And Chris Wolfhard.
I'm old.
And that's right, we are the only living beings to have watched all of the Oni Musha, the Netflix.
That's not true. I know one other person.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
It's, what do you call it? The exception that proves the rule?
Yeah, this is, so for people who don't know, this is an 8-episode Netflix anime, apparently the chief director of which was Takashi Miike, which is very interesting because this is so similar to so many other Capcom Netflix animated things.
Yeah, I really question how much he had to do with this, because, oh man, if you look at the director of this, it's a lot more like his work.
Oh, really? What else did he do?
He made Dragon's Dogma.
No shit!
See,
God!
we'll get into it. We need to do our opening segment.
Sure, yeah. For people who haven't listened to one of our spoiler-casted reviews before, what we do is a couple sentences giving you the general idea of our thoughts individually on the thing, and then at the end we make a guttural sound letting you know the exact emotional spectrum on a primal level, so that way you can relate. And then we will talk about the series in depth, giving musings, criticisms, etc., death spiraling conversationally, and then at the end each of us will give this a score 1 to 10. Possibly 0. And then we get an average, whatever, numbers. Numbers good. We're going to go and start with Dr. Aggro.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like if Rooster Teeth made Ninja Scroll? You shouldn't. You shouldn't wonder that. And this was better than that would probably be. So I'm going to give it a...
Chris Wolfhard.
Onimusha, the Netflix, is certainly not going to light the world on fire, but we have seen so many horrible streaming shows at this point that I'm like, oh, it's not offensive to my senses and kind of just has a linear story that has cool things in it and sometimes not so cool things, but sometimes cool things. So I'm going to give it a...
Bob.
Onimusha, I don't think they've played any of the games. The first 4 episodes are fine, whatever, and then it falls off a cliff completely and makes me very upset. So I'm going to give it a...
Bob's second half is literally all I wanted to say. Onimusha, for the first 4 episodes, the writing and various things about it make it a tolerable, if a little ugly, anime with 3D models instead of traditional 2D animation. And then the second half make me not even worry about the visuals at all anymore. I'm going to give this a... because, oh man, it was like watching a car roll slowly downhill and you're like, it's going to make it. And then it burst into flames for no reason at all.
Yeah.
It definitely fell off in the back half. I don't know what happened.
I don't know why, but once you hit episode 5 and they're like, this entire episode is going to have characters that are the episode villains that we won't even make a 3D model for, that are drawn in 2D. They barely do anything, so we don't have to draw them that much even. They show up at the beginning and then at the end to get owned. And the entire rest of the episode is, this girl is sick. Let's do flashbacks. Was when I really, I was not worried about the show until that moment.
Yeah, even that moment, I was just like, yeah, whatever. This is one weird episode like this, but we'll go back to, and it'll be fine. They'll have an ending to this show. And then the next 3 episodes were the worst things they could have made.
It does just, it's so bizarre to have a streaming show that does we ran out of development money. This guy that was 3 guys before the final boss, he's now the final boss. Write the villain losing all his limbs instantly and then being strangled.
I considered it brave.
Honestly, I did also.
That they spent this whole show going, Iaimon was so much better than us at the sword. He's such a Chad. He's so strong. He's our master's greatest disciple. I don't know how we can beat him. And then you just bring in Ghost Kojiro Sasaki to amputate his ass.
Yeah, that part was honestly pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
That was good, and I actually was all for that. the part that got weird. Okay, so you need to understand that the decomposition of the end, the falling apart, the rotting of this corpse, really did whip me all the way back to Dragon's Dogma. Because watching the Dragon's Dogma series, you would have a pretty good episode a lot of the time, and then the last 3 minutes would be the most obnoxious, rubbing your nose in the writer's thoughts. Isn't this smart moment? And I could still like that series largely, even despite that. Most of the episodes were okay, even at the end of that. But then the dragon at the end is just like, you don't have schools, you only have violence. Well, this had like 3 dragons at the end who all had a thing they thought was a really poignant thing going on. And it was really bizarre. It was really bizarre. I did appreciate Yamon getting amputated, though. That was sick as hell.
Now, Bob, I have to correct you. You said they didn't know anything about Oni Musha. That's wrong, because in one scene he cuts a bunch of guys and the orbs, exactly like in the games, come out of their corpses for him to absorb with the gauntlet.
That happens once, though.
Hey, Musashi uses the Ishin, where you eviscerate somebody with a counter, a lot.
Mm-hmm. I do have to say, like, I knew nothing about Onimusha. I'd seen the box art a couple of times. And right about the time where they're in the underground coliseum and the centaur chariot busts out of a door, I went, oh, right, this is a video game.
Yeah, that was one of the few parts that's like, oh, this is really video gamey, but it really bugged me. They only ever used that one video game enemy, the generic samurai zombie. Mm-hmm. We didn't see any other of the enemies from video games.
Which is pretty weird.
Like, even the Castlevania show does better.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what was with that tone? Wait a second.
This is so, like, wildly detached from, like, the games. Like, it...
Yeah, it doesn't really hit the tone of any of them.
Like, there's no real demons. We see, like, humans that get infected, which isn't even really a thing in the Onimusha games. I don't feel like you have Nobunaga, but that's it. And like you have the butler guy, and I was like, okay, is he gonna be like Guildenstern, the freaky Genma scientist? Like, is he gonna be some demon in disguise? Like, no, he's not. He's just a random white dude.
Yeah, he's just a random white dude.
Yeah, who's crazy. It's so weird that it doesn't seem like how is Iemon doing any of this? Like, where is he getting these demon powers?
Yeah, because he's able to heal his envoy from a distance using his demonic influence, and he's able to manipulate directly through the bodies multiple people. And then the guy himself seemingly had no demon powers at all because he just got chopped apart.
Yeah,
it's really weird. I don't get it. They don't really go into it either.
Right, and that, like Chris was saying, like that's not how the games are. There's usually a demon pulling the strings.
Right.
The goblet usually doesn't kill who's wearing it.
Right. Which you need a thing here to have a conflict for the main character, because otherwise he's badass the whole time and there's no threat.
It's true.
I'm trying to remember if there was something like that.
It definitely
in other games.
It didn't really have, as far as I know, it didn't really have a Shinobi on PS2 thing going on with the sword.
Yeah, not in the first one, but I'm trying to remember if in 2 or 3 there's like some element of like, yeah, there's a downside to it.
Yeah, and the funny thing here is like we would know the answer to this if we didn't cause this series, because people pointed out, you know, we played Oni Musha, and the GigaBoots blessing / curse is that whatever we play gets a revival. And since we only played Oni Musha 1, that's why this is the only thing that's happening.
Right.
With the label Oni Musha on it until Capcom renames that thing to Oni Musha ?
I don't think they're changing the name again.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything like explicit like that in the games, but I kind of just took it as like Musashi is old. He can't take these juiced up Oni powers when he's like 60.
Motherfucker's getting heart palpitations from the monster he drank.
Yeah, it makes sense, but at the same time it feels like every episode uses it as a writing crutch of like, no, he can't. We can't resolve anything. He's got to not do something.
Right, yeah.
But he still like uses it constantly anyway, so I get what they were going for.
It's like Dragon Ball GT where it's like, no, Goku just needs to do the thing.
And then Goku's like just zoned out instead of doing anything.
I would have liked it if they had like established, no, when Musashi was young, he was such a badass he could wash these demons with no help. Like they needed to like do a flashback to young Musashi where he's just superhuman.
Yeah, they did really need more fleshing out Musashi in general, because like we don't even know how he knows about or about the gauntlet or anything. Which at the beginning of the series, it feels like they will flesh that out. It feels like he has knowledge of the demons and all of this, and that just isn't really gone into. Just sort of glaze over and like, okay, we're doing these adventures, not talking about anything that happened previously.
Look, when you're really, really good at sword fighting, you just know these things.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, it kind of does check out.
Kojiro Sasaki at the end, he keeps shouting like sword technique, and then he does some demon magic bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like could he do that before? Because the first time he does it, Musashi's, oh, you used this thing you're famous for. And I'm like, wait, were you guys like throwing sword kamehamehas at each other?
Yeah, what the hell?
You were both young.
Is that what the hell? You just said I'm going to shoot you and then kicked me. Like
So I take it that you do play as Musashi Miyamoto in Onimusha.
No. Well, he's a playable character in the Smash Brothers spin-off Blade Warriors.
Yes.
Oh my god, that is fantastic. Because I was like, I think I remember what that box art looks like. And that is not Toshiro Mifune on the cover of that game.
No, it is not.
Not even
Which,
once.
like, the anime starts with that, sick-ass scene of him fighting all those monks. And eventually I'm like, I get it. Your samurai character looks like Toshiro Mifune. This is way too much of a lean-in. And then they call him Musashi. Oh, okay. Yeah, that all checks out.
Yeah, in the Oni Musha games, Agra, you play as Samanosuke Akechi, the guy who killed Nobunaga.
Well, technically his cousin in reality, because it's someone else Akechi, Mitsuhide Akechi, and you play as his cousin Samanosuke Akechi.
Samanosuke.
Ah, that's right.
That's
right.
awesome.
And then you play as Yagyu Jubei in 2, and then in 3 you play as Jean Renault. who time travels back to ancient Japan to beat the shit out of some demons.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is it like, okay, I understand that it literally is Jean Renault, but is the character in the game played by Jean Renault, or is it just Jean Renault?
It's just Jean. That is literally officially Jean Renault's character. He's not named Jean Renault. That is Jean Renault, though.
Yeah, like he voices him and portrays models for him.
Yeah.
Well, he voices him when he's speaking French.
Yes.
When he's speaking English, he is not voiced
Right, that's
by
what I'm
Jean
saying.
Renault.
But like in the lore of the video game, does actor Jean Renault travel back in time to kill
No,
people?
sadly, that game wasn't made in the 90s or 80s where they would have done that.
This is also, I believe, the farthest in the timeline that we've seen in Onimusha, because it is after Dawn of Dreams, even, because that is 15 years after the Onimusha 3, and they talk about the Battle of Sekigahara, which is even farther than that is from, or which is after Dawn of Dreams.
Yeah, that's right. Weird.
Yeah, it's pretty strange.
I guess that makes sense why everything's so fucked up, considering I'm pretty sure in Dawn of Dreams he like all the demons are killed. So it's like we dug up a corpse and this is what it caused.
But yeah, for the first 4 episodes, I really enjoy the different characters they're introducing, the different gimmicks they have. I actually like the cast for this a lot, which is very dissimilar to a lot of the Netflix Capcom series we've had to watch here.
Yeah, no, they aren't Dragon's Dogma characters.
Right. They aren't Monster Hunter characters. These characters I like a lot more, whereas in Monster Hunter show, I think I liked 1, maybe 2 characters. I really just dislike a lot of the writing things they depend upon, right? The cheap shot that is. He can't use the gauntlet. It will hurt him, so he has to not own them for a lot of this episode and various other... what is the phrase I started saying a lot? The honorable sacrifice.
Oh yeah, the honorable sacrifice. That
We
makes
got a
no
lot
sense.
of those here that didn't make a lot of sense. I'm like, you have 3 full-grown men next to that bell. Dig a fucking hole. What are you? You're even digging a hole to put the stick under. And
No,
then the
he
monk
must grab it. He must grab the perpetually lit bell.
Right,
and
the
kill
fucking
himself.
monk is killing himself on the bell, and I'm like, look, the stick plan was already not optimal. What is this?
Like he looks down at the log. I'm like, yes, you'll all pick it up, put it on the top of the bell, and tip the fucking thing over.
Right.
Right?
Right?
Right? That's what you mean
And
by
then
lever, right?
That's when Kaizen or whatever just gave you the Anakin stare.
The worst scene in this whole show is still when Sayo's parents show up.
Yeah, that was like going full on into the Dragon's Dogma. We must have this beat miserable thing.
Yeah, that like Dan said while we were watching, if we were just watching this to watch it, I would just never turn it on again after this episode.
Yeah, that actually really upset me because they like you can have that moment, but you need to write a mechanic that makes that moment make sense. You can't just have him go, well, there's no way I can remove two frail adults from this child getting strangled.
Right.
I should behead them.
Yeah, there wasn't even a single thing between it. It's like you could have tried anything. Like you have to have the character try a few things before that.
Right. Have them have demonic powers. There are several elements of how you can write this moment to make it make sense, but you didn't give them demonic powers. You gave them choking their child powers, of which a swift kick to the head could probably solve. It was very upsetting, and this is very strange because I actually rather enjoyed Alfred. I thought Alfred was delightful. He makes a lot of funny faces. It feels like the funniest, quirkiest JoJo's character got dumped over here to work for a man who had a vision about Whitey coming to Japan to ruin it. And he's like, yo, we got to stop being spineless pusses. We're going to die.
His first scene where he's just standing behind the desk and Iamon's talking to Kojiro. I'm like, what the fuck is this room? Like, oh yeah, what's up? This is the white guy I bought. He's quirky. I swear, every other line from Alfred, I'd have to take it back a couple of notches and switch the language because I wanted to hear it in both.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah,
I should do that.
Yeah, I'm really curious how Alfred is in Japanese. Fred Tadashori plays him in English, and I think that may be my favorite role that man's done, other than the Beast from the Beauty and Beast Brigade from Metal Gear Solid 4. He's the voice of the Beast. But yeah, no, that's Alfred's fantastic. He makes really good faces. Speaking of really good faces, many characters make some pretty good faces. Why is the credit roll always over that, like an in-between frame of the good faces? It always seems like it's zooming in at a weird time.
God, like they keep turning to look at the camera, and every single time it happened, I remembered the slow turn from the episode of Archer where he has cancer. They have serious
Jesus.
Archer face.
Dan also said that.
I did actually say they
Jesus.
have Archer face. I was like, they look like Frisky Dingo Archer faces they're making. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know how this looked the same exact quality of Dragon's Dogma, and I don't know how that happened because it's been years. CGI animation's gotten better.
Lots of it looks much better than Dragon's Dogma on Netflix, but other parts do not. Like Dragon's Dogma looked real raw.
Yeah,
Like it looked real uncooked.
Oh, this is so good. All I had to do was Google Archer eyebrows. And it's like, hey, Chris, tell me you didn't see him make that face 70
Yeah, I did.
times watching this.
Yeah, I did.
but I feel like it's really similar to Dragon's Dogma because it's just like that. I'm like, once or twice in the series, they do a really good looking shot.
Yeah.
And the rest looks terrible.
Yeah, and sometimes it looks, once again, it really bums me out when it's just like, you can tell this character instantly isn't going to have that much on-screen presence because it's fucking 2D. Everyone else in the scene's 3D, but this person's drawn in 2D because we're barely going to see them. That's so depressing. I can't remember having watched anything else recently where supposedly the villain of the week is just a different production quality.
Look, I'm hearing a lot of slander about the best characters in this series, so I think we need to take this back a moment.
I thought they were pretty all right. I would have liked them to actually be characters at all. I legitimately thought
You two are big Yoshioka sister fans?
when they first showed up, I legitimately thought this was a dream sequence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they're 2D. It just seemed farcical for we're their sisters who also do fights.
I mean, yeah, it's hilarious.
Especially since they're supposed to be, the implication was that he killed the Yoshioka brothers 30 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So they should look much older because they don't have demon powers.
Yeah, I made the joke to Bob. I was like, they're all their baby sisters. Somehow.
I was like, maybe they are demons? I don't know.
Unclear.
So when they showed up, I was like, okay, is Musashi having some fucked up dream from medicine he took or something? And then it's like, no, this is just the episode. I'm like, okay. I guess, and then they show up at the end to die.
Yeah. Because they were animated in TV or in 2D, I honestly was like, oh man, these character designs look way better than anything else.
God, those chicks had some serious Team Rocket energy.
Yeah. But the main cast looks pretty ugly. It's rough.
Yeah, they do, but I think that's kind of deliberate.
Yeah, for some
a
of
lot
them
of
it
them,
absolutely is, but in other ones it's like, okay, a fat guy's face needs to animate more or else it just looks plastic.
Yeah, he looks like he's made of plastic.
He's wearing a rubber mask.
And that's the way it feels like with all those characters. Like, this could be a really good design like that, oh man, the poison guy.
Yeah, the poison guy. I'm sorry, I didn't commit anything.
Yeah, I don't remember, but he has a like old dude face with a cool weird chin.
Yeah.
And like, I've seen that in a 2D animation and it can look great. And here it just, again, looks like he's wearing a rubber mask.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Them looking hideous kind of worked for me. I don't know. I'm so tired of seeing attractive people. I'm just so fucking tired of attractive people. Put some hideous fucking models for some hideous fucking people in my face, and I'm like, okay, sure, fuck it.
Yeah. Like, I really like the look of a lot of the modeling, but they haven't quite figured out how to animate some of this correctly yet.
Oh, you talking about like, someone will stop talking and they'll freeze perfectly in that frame for seconds straight as the other person then talks?
Or they'll start running and we can't like morph or squish any part of this model, so we just have to have them Lego run.
That was really funny. They do the Skyborn camera shot of them running at a 45-degree angle rotated, and it's just like, dude, no, don't show me all of that not working.
Yeah, anytime they have to calmly walk, it's also really bad. Anytime we see them move in a wide, it's like, you shouldn't have done it. Like, you can't move these legs.
Yeah, didn't Berserk teach them anything?
I guess not.
I mean, we've come a long way from Berserk.
I genuinely like this series much more than Dragon's Dogma until the halfway point. That's when I really just got frustrated in every episode with the noble sacrifices, the completely out of nowhere noble sacrifices. And yeah, by the end of it, I really just... it's so weird because I really thought it was pretty cool. Like pretty standard, passable, like whatever. It's not the worst one of these we've watched. And then halfway it just goes, what if I tried to be though? And I'm like, good Lord, please.
I'm like, you failed, but this was still unideal.
Right? Yeah, no, it gave its hardest to be worse than Dragon's Dogma, but luckily it didn't quite do that.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like it would have served this very well to be 2 episodes shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't get too mad at this because it isn't. It just has the name Oni Musha, which in like the Gauntlet, and that's really the only real connection. Which I get can annoy people that it's so sparse, but at the same time, like, okay, this is a show I would drop. It's not Dragon's Dogma, which offended me with how stupid it was.
Yeah, no, I'm the only one who didn't give it a 1.
Yeah, it was. You see, this one holds all its stupidity for the last like 2 episodes. Like, it just maxes out on those.
Its stupidity is just like is like normal dumb guy stupidity. Like the part at the end where they like, okay, he took the ore, like in lore where he killed Kojiro with the ore and he's going to use the ore. We're going to cut away and imply that they both died instead of Kojiro eviscerating him with demon power now.
Yeah, it was so frustrating as they just started doing that. And it's like, yes, we know this fight. We get it. We get that this is cool. Please. It's like 10 minutes of buildup of like, okay, the actual fight that we're animating stopped. We're going to do the thing that we did before.
It sure would have been nice if they had conveyed the idea that, yes, the Oni Gauntlet gives him like greater vitality, but he like loses his old man technique. That would make the end where he says only a human can beat Kojiro make any sense at all.
Yeah, they really don't, follow through on that because they cut away after the whole place explodes and they're like, okay, who knows what that meant.
How was he going to get those tanks out of that mountain?
I don't.
I don't know. His plan's worse than like any of the Kenshin villains.
That's what I was thinking of for that whole section. I was thinking of Shishio's boat.
Holy shit.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, also, he's like, samurai need to be stronger. I built tanks, though.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't.
Like,
I swear to God, with this kid.
Yeah, none of these plans actually, like,
Yeah, it
work.
like I don't know. This it has so many. It feels like more than one script they slammed together.
It does.
Because there's so much stuff that is like, is this supposed to be in the Bakumatsu era? Like, there's stuff with like foreign powers, and we're gonna overthrow the emperor and the shogun, and like I'm surprised they didn't mention black ships.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's 200 years before then, so it's like, what were you cooking?
Like Teenage Imon's like, one day we're going to get invaded and we need the country to be strong. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So we need to create like a hellscape so samurai can be really, really good at sword fighting. And it's at that point the adult in the conversation should have gone, kid, I don't think you have any idea what a war is or how they're prosecuted or won.
It comes off like, well, your plan is stupid. Luckily, your mentor is like a really war-crazed dipshit and is like all in instantly.
I did love just how completely erased that dude was at the episode 1.
Yeah, that was still when I was like, oh, this is probably going to be pretty good.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, I'll duel you, Musashi, arms gone instantly.
Right.
Man, you know what's going to be so much better than this?
Mm.
The next season of Baki when Musashi comes back from the dead.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's going to be better. Jesus.
And here I thought you were
Holy
going to give a
shit.
glowing sign off to the Devil May Cry anime. Which, I mean, obviously that'll be better than this. If it's not better than this, oh my god.
Yeah, that's going to be... If
Yeah, if it's not better than this, then you might as well watch the original Devil May Cry anime.
Yeah, right.
So I wanted to highlight what may be one of my favorite sets of characters for the rest of my life, which is actually the Yoshioka Brothers.
Mm.
Because I have never before encountered a group or an entity that is so already rinsed and owning it so hard. Like, they're screaming at Musashi, ha, you fool, you can't beat us because you only have 2 swords and there are 3 of us. Guys that he's already killed after they sent 50 dudes against him. Like, you dumb idiot.
70.
We're clearly superior because we now have demon powers and literally 1 more weapon than you can bring to bear.
I kept thinking of the Black Tri-Stars.
Yes! They lined up in everything. I love them so much. They're so dumb.
Yeah, I really wish they could have maintained that energy for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
this is me being an ignorant American
Okay.
and perhaps insensitive.
Uh-huh.
The Chanmage does not look cool. Don't give characters that are supposed to be cool that haircut. Where they're bald and have it on the sides and the top knot that all 3 of them had.
Yeah, but
Because it was popular in the Edo period.
those are walking
Musashi
owls.
doesn't have that. Yeah, they're walking elves, so don't show me those characters and ask me to take them seriously for even a second.
But it's okay. They had them kill like a main character. That made sure you knew how cool they were.
I just went like, of course that guy died first. Look at him.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they made him a hawk trainer. I thought that was neat, but it was also he engaged God, what was that movie?
Oh.
His Birdemic.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, because the birds look terrible and they kept making the same bird sound and then they could just pop the heads off of people with no effort.
Yeah, that was driving
they
me
were
crazy.
zombies. They're zombies. It's real easy. It was real easy to pull the rotting heads off.
Then why wasn't the people kicking them just having them fall to pieces?
Yeah, I don't.
Because shut up.
Yeah,
Shut up. That's why.
That fight was so sad. It was like, okay, attack their legs and then their heads, and then the fat guy's like, I can't do anything. And I'm like, why? You have a sword, just swing.
Yeah, and then the next fight, they were competent.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, he was scared.
Unlike next time?
right, unlike the time when it's samurai
yeah,
zombies.
he got used to it.
Well, yeah, zombies are scary the first time.
Oh, okay.
And then, then he birded them and saw that their heads just sort of, and then you're not scared anymore.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of stupid sacrifices, we have to talk about the poison guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, because he
My technique only works if I die doing it. I'm like, that seems like a bad plan.
He just needs that blood to activate it. It's like, yeah, like cut your hand or something. Don't take arrows
like
to the chest.
blood of your enemies, or
Right?
carry some around. Maybe finish developing the powder.
Why did he even expect that to work on the demon?
Right?
Like, I was surprised it did anything.
It was so sick when he does the slash and all the green powder comes out. I'm like, that's sick as hell. And then he's like, haha, now I'll just wait for him to arrow me so my ultimate kill move will be complete.
What in blood activates it?
Life force.
Look, this dude is a master of derailing trains, and it's like, okay, it's time for you to do your job. And he's like, okay, and he lies down on the fucking train tracks. Wait, our master taught you this?
Okay, who would win in a fight? The fat guy, the poison smoke guy, and the nerd, or the mod souls?
The mod souls.
That really says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because some of the mod souls' power is killing themselves.
That's true. That's true. Nobody goes, Ririn, you need to derail this train. And she goes, okay. She just lies down.
Bob, that was the culmination of all of his training, and you need to show some respect from way over here while we don't help him.
No, Musashi just needs to open the box and hit the gauntlet on. No, I'm killing myself.
Like, he's got a musket and he's riding in a chariot. He's not going to hit shit. Just go over and stab him.
I don't even get the idea that this guy is an expert firearms guy. Like, I think you're good, dude.
So are we going to get a sequel that's just Sayo?
No, probably not.
I hope not.
I think this already fell through the core of the earth.
Yeah, no one even knew it's out. I guarantee you when this goes up, people will be like, are you kidding me? That's real.
Right? Man, I was really expecting some other thing to tie into Oni Musha here. Like maybe even like Sayo's parents were related to someone. Anything? But no.
No, it's just a name.
Yeah.
You get a name.
That is wild. I spent this whole time going, man, I wonder how much of this is in Onimusha. And like they go through the mine and it opens into like the foyer of a mansion. And I'm like, this has to be from the video game, right?
It's not specifically, but there's shit like that in them.
Right?
Like there's definitely aesthetics and things as they properly use. It is really weird that demons like Kojiro and the Yoshioka brothers kind of just look like generic, like they don't have anything super unique about their designs. They kind of just have the same exact kind of arms come out or legs as each other instead of being their own unique demon. Because Onimusha typically does have like traditional Japanese demons, which are very different for every monster, not this sort of repetitive thing.
That sounds really hard to animate.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, we're gonna put a pass on that one. We're just not gonna do that.
What if you just grew more arms?
Yeah, that's what Kojiro Sasaki's known for.
Having four arms? That's
several
crazy.
arms.
That's fucking nuts, man.
Although honestly, if you brought Kojiro Sasaki back from the dead, that might be the kind of thing he'd pull on Musashi. Like 2 swords. Fuck you, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, there were so few things like Onimusha in this. I was really surprised when Musashi actually transformed into a Oni-looking demon, like in the games.
Yeah, it feels like they had to.
Right, it does. But they
had
kept
the
having just his
gauntlet.
eyes turn, and I was like, what?
I don't even remember there being anything like that in any of the games except maybe the last one.
That's even in the intro cutscene to 3, isn't it?
Yeah, 3
in the
is the thing.
immaculate CG.
Yeah, he does the
Oh,
he's
yeah,
got
that's
his double
right.
trigger.
And it's really sick.
Yeah, that's not in the first game, so I have trouble remembering it occasionally.
I think there's in the cutscene you do a cool transformation as a part of the ending of the first one, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I know. I think usually I guess it's the final boss move, so I guess makes sense to be at the end because I think Jubei Yagyu also turns into a big demon in the final boss.
Yeah, that sounds right. Man, I need to play Shoot 2 again.
Yeah, 2 and 3 are real good. A lot better than this fucking thing. Capcom, release them. I get that it's hard because of actor licenses, but just pay them some money. They can't be that unreasonable.
Right. Jean Reno showed up in a Straight to Redbox movie.
And he'd be like, oh, what? I get like a $10,000 check and don't even have to leave my house. That sounds great.
Well, I think we should wrap this up. Did anyone have anything else they wanted to say? Okay, well, now it's time for our summary reviews and a score out of 10. Just a few sentences, fully synopsizing exactly what you thought about this and feelings, etc. And a score 1 to 10. We're going to start with Chris Wolfhard.
Oni Musha the Netflix is a show you can watch. It falls apart in the back half. I'm going to be real. I was mostly doing meal prep while I was watching this. So I'm like, that kept me distracted. I'm going to give this a 5.
Holy okay, Bob.
Yeah, this show is really frustrating, but we've definitely seen way worse. Something Dan said right before we started watching is, yeah, this is going to be the best Netflix Capcom adaptation. It'll be a 6. And that's not quite right. I'd say this is a 4. It's still the best Netflix Capcom adaptation.
See, the joke's on you. I did say 4.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was not that optimistic. Which, immediately made me happily surprised by the first half. Only to then. Anyway, so what was that, 4?
Yeah, 4.
Okay. Dr. Aggro.
Yeah, Onimusha the Netflix is fine. It's pretty great for a Capcom show, but other than that, it's got some cool scenes and it's pretty dumb. 5.
Yo, I really hated this. I genuinely, we watch a lot of bad things and a lot of things across the whole spectrum for like content, and I think that's important to expose yourself to a lot of different levels of qualities of things, so that way you're not like, oh, the worst movie I've ever seen is blank. And it's like, dude, that was just a bad Marvel film. You don't even know the depths of human depravity. This evoked a feeling in me I don't usually get so strongly and so immediately. Before it even ended, I thought strongly, I regret this. I'm giving it a 3, but only because the first half was legitimately fine.
Right? That's what's so hard to score this, right?
So frustrating. It's so frustrating because, yeah, I had a pretty good time with the first 4 episodes. The only thing in that made me go, what the hell are you doing? Is the monk lighting himself on fire on the bell? I'm like, there's so many plans you could concoct that are better than burning yourself alive to almost no effect. Ugh. But yeah, anyways, that gives Onimusha the Netflix a resounding 4.25 out of 10.
Impressive for a Capcom show.
I'm so glad Hiroyuki Kobayashi is no longer there because this is undoubtedly his fault, like just the rest of them.
Yeah, this is so close to like Dragon's Dogma and stuff that obviously this is his doing.
It's so clearly in the spectrum of this small camp of things they made, like Onimusha or like Monster Hunter and Dragon's Dogma and stuff. It is so clearly among them. I just don't. And thank God the second season of the live action Resident Evil isn't happening.
Yeah.
So we need Devil May Cry to come out, okay? I don't need that sort of Damocles above me anymore.
Yeah, that's the only thing left. It might be really far off if it's not close to done because there's going to be a animation guild strike in like 3 months.
Well, that's going to do it for the Spoilercast. If you want to watch any of those other ones, which we've watched every Capcom thing that they teamed up with Netflix for, feel free to go check those out. Thanks for listening. Bob, you're supposed to follow me up by doing the fox sound.
What?
Yeah, we were doing the end of The Simpsons.
Oh my God,
Would you
that's
not-
what that was?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
That's the. Would it have helped if I said shh at the beginning of it?
And I really need that, or my brain doesn't get ready for it.
Here we go. Shh. Do 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 do.
Yeah, I don't know the beat after that.
You don't know the fox? Nothing?
No, I'm bad. I'm not good at this.
Oh, this is terrible. The executive producers for this GigaBoots video are Esme, Ely Broyles, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, A Reminder for Symphony of War, Cooper Tank, Very Best Plot, Iconic Bane, and Rado. Thank you very much to our executive producers. And also these guys. If you want to become an executive producer or normal patron, head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today.